Right, hello everyone. So this evening I'm going to make a very quick card and ATC following our Crafty Individuals black and white theme. I'm going to be using these stamps today. So it's CI359, CI616 and CI638. I do apologise about the glare. I don't usually record videos when it's dark. But yeah, I was originally going to make this tomorrow, but I think we're off out tomorrow, so I thought I'd do it really quickly this evening. But yeah, so I just quickly show you, this is the card that I'm going to be making. I think again it's quite a basic card. I think that's the joy of using the theme black and white. You can do it quite basic. Not every stamps do work in the black and white theme, but I think these work quite well. Just a little reminder, all the stamps that I'm going to be using today, you will be able to get them on offer at the moment on the Crafty Individuals website. So you'll be able to get them at 35% off using the code the big sale. Right, I'm going to get started. I have done a little prep. I'm going to do the two things kind of at the same time, just so that I can, you know, hopefully do it a bit quicker. So I'll be doing the ATC and the card alongside each other, if that kind of makes sense. Anyway, so to start with, I've cut some pieces of card out. So this one is just a bit smaller than an ATC, because I will be mounting it onto another piece of black card, as you can see here. You probably can't see that well, but it's just a little bit smaller. You'll see it properly when once I've finished working on it. This I think this one's about the same size. It's not far off. It was just a piece of black card that I had laying around that I'm gonna make use of, really. Anyway, so I'm going to use picket fence here. It's not an ink pad that I used very often, but I am going to, it works really well on black card. So I'm just using my blending brush. I've got some new blending brushes, which I have to say I absolutely love. I had these quite a few years ago. I think I bought them when I went to Ali Pali. Oh goodness, it had to be, how long ago now? It must have been about when my son was, well, just before my son was born. I bought my first batch, and I only bought a few of them, and I just kind of put them to the side, never really used them because I only had 3. But I did recently pull them out and try them and absolutely loved them. So I recently purchased some more, and I also got some more for Christmas, which was great. So I'm just going up sort of just above the halfway mark, just because when I then do my stamping, you'll be able to see sort of a silhouette of the London scene. If you find that you've done a bit too much, you can get a black ink pad and bring some black down. I did actually do that on this one last night because I took the white up a little bit too far. So I just got my black ink pad and brought that into the scene a bit more, so it wasn't as white. Right, I'm now going to grab my stamping block and the lovely London scene. Now when you're stamping this out, I'm not going to stamp the whole image. So it has essentially got like a Christmas tree in it, but I'm only going to stamp up to Big Ben, and then the rest of it, I don't really want the tree in it. Right, where's my, oh, I can't see my ink pad now. Where have I put that? There we go. So I'm just going to use some VersaFine Clear ink. I have now re-inked this, so hopefully it'll stamp nice now. I think the last demo that I done, it was a little bit dry. Right, so I'm just going to go in and start sort of that end, and hopefully, sorry, I'm just trying to work out where the bottom of the card is, and hopefully I've just about cut off that tree. Right, I'm going to use my Barren tool. And just push that ink into the card. Hopefully that should be enough. Yep, that's fine. Right, I'm now going to grab some black ink. What I should have actually done is use my anti-static bag, and I haven't done that. So I would recommend using an anti-static bag on this. Right, so I'm now just going to sprinkle some black embossing powder. I think this is just Wow ultra fine embossing powder. I've changed the tubs a little on this. Right, now what I'm actually going to do is grab a brush. This might seem a little bit bizarre doing this at the moment. Actually, I haven't put quite enough embossing powder on, missed quite a bit off. Right, I'm actually just going to brush some of the embossing powder away from this edge and along the bottom. I will explain why in a little while. But yeah, for now I'm just gonna, so all around the edges. I said it will kind of make sense in a little while. Right, I'm going to pop that to the side, and I'm going to quickly stamp this one just so that I can do them both together, so I'm not using the heat gun for too long. And again, I've forgotten to use the anti-static bag in that. I'm not actually sure where it is, so I'm just going to go in and stamp this. About there, I think. I hope I'm doing this on camera. It's quite hard to see. I'll use my Barren tool. I'm just going to peel that away. Right, and grab my piece of white scrap paper back. And sprinkle it again with some black embossing powder. I think I've actually been very lucky in terms of not getting it everywhere on the sky bit. Oh dear, excuse me. Right, and again, I'm just going to brush away some of this edging. And again on this side. And along the bottom slightly. Right, let's get rid of this powder. And now I'm just going to emboss these with the heat gun. Oh, I've just knocked the camera there, sorry about that. I actually really love using the black embossing powder over colours, mainly the oxides, but I think picket fence kind of works along the same lines as the oxide inks. But yeah, I think when you work on black, it's just so vibrant. Really popped. So I'm now going to grab the other one and do exactly the same with that. And you'll notice that I'm lifting it up slightly while I'm embossing it. For two reasons really. One, I don't want to melt my messy mat, but also it just embosses so much quicker if you can lift it up and you have like an airflow between your project and your desk. Right, so there we go. It's embossed really nicely. Right, so for the next bit, I'm going to get rid of all that black embossing powder off of there. I'm now going to use my Versamark, and I'm literally just going to flick it off the edge. So I'm kind of holding it at a slight angle. I'll try and tip it up to see if, you know, hopefully you'll be able to get what I mean. So I'm holding it at an angle while I'm doing it. I'm going to hold it back normally because I can't really do it that well. So the reason I wiped some of that embossing powder off is because in a minute we're going to emboss this with white embossing powder, and I think when I done it on the card it didn't take very well over the black embossing powder, so I've decided to sort of leave it a little and just go in with, you know, sorry, losing my words. So I thought it'd be better to get rid of some of the black embossing powder and hope that it embosses a little bit better this time. So I'm just flicking carefully on the edge. Do you know what? I actually really like how it's laying at the moment. I'm not actually, there's only such a thin layer there. I might actually just go straight in and emboss that. But I'm going to emboss it from underneath this time, just because some of that hasn't, some of the powder isn't stuck to the embossing powder. I hope that makes sense. So because I only put it around the edge, you can see there's some like loose specks. And if I go in from the top, it'll just blow that off. So I'm holding it at an angle, kind of away, because obviously if I did tip this slightly, I'll end up with specks of embossing powder in my heat gun, which I really don't want. Sorry, I'm just trying to tilt it so I can see how much it's embossed. Oh dear, excuse me. I should have grabbed some water before doing this video, but it was sort of a mad rush to do right at the last minute. Just waiting for that last little bit to turn. There we go. Right, I'm now just going to go in from above and get those last bits that I've missed. Actually missed quite a bit there. Right, so this one's worked a lot better. So when I done it yesterday, all these areas where I'd used black embossing powder, it went like a grey colour. But this has actually worked really well. So brushing it off first definitely makes a difference. Right, so I'm just going to do the same thing on this one. And again, just flick the edges. Just helps it. I know we didn't really tip the embossing powder off, but it does just help it stick. I think I've done that last side, didn't I? Right, so again, I'm just going to very carefully go all around the edge, just lightly tapping the embossing powder. I don't want it too thick. I'm going to see if I can do what I'd done last time. Hopefully I can pull it off a second time. I'm trying not to move it as you turn it round. just going to pop it down so I can twist it round without moving it too much. Twist that round again. Right, there we go. Again, I've managed to put it on quite lightly, so I'm just going to go in again from underneath and try and melt that. Suppose you could really mount it onto white card if you wanted to. I quite like the sort of, I don't know what the word, kind of rustic look with all the loose bits of powder around the edging. I'm just going to turn that round. You can see all those loose specks have worked really well coming into the image. It sort of draws your eyes into the centerpiece, doesn't it? And then the last edge. And then I will go on top very briefly because I think there's a few areas that haven't quite finished embossing. Actually, that bit there. Right, there we go. So I'm now just going to get rid of this powder before I end up spilling it everywhere. Right, so in terms of my ATC, that's actually now done. I'm just going to grab the backing piece to make sure I've got the right one. Right, so it must be this one. So in terms of the ATC, I'm just going to stick this down. I'm going to use my cloud glue. I'm just going to actually try and straighten that out a little bit because where I've embossed it so much, it's they sort of bend, don't they? So I'm just going to go around all the edge and then a little bit in the center, and then place that onto my main ATCs. Now, for those of you that haven't done ATCs before, they measure, I think it's 2.5 by 3.5 inches. Oh, I've gone over there with the glue. I'm just going to get my glue eraser if I can find it. There we go. Right, there we go. Very handy, them erasers. They're an absolute must. No, there's still a little bit there. There we go. Right, so that's actually the ATC done. What I'm going to do now is carry on with the card piece. And no, there's still a little bit. It's still oozing out there as I've picked it up. So I'm just going to rub that off because it will annoy me. Right, so yeah, I'm now going to continue with the card piece. Right, so I've got my card blank here. Now for ATCs, when I'm sending them, I usually like to do a 4x6 card just because it's nice and small and they're quick to make. Sorry, I'm actually just looking for my spray bottle. There it is. I'm just going to clean that off a little bit because it's getting on my nerves. Yeah, so I like to work on a 4x6 card blank usually when I'm sending an ATC. So I've already cut my pieces out. I've cut a black piece just slightly smaller, and then a white piece just slightly smaller than that. Now, if I'd have prepared a bit more, I would have probably gutted the black card, But as I said, it was a bit of a last minute choice to make do this demo now, so I'm just going to go with it. Right, so I'm just grabbing the map stamp, which is CI616, and I'm not even going to mount this. Actually, I'm just going to see what way up it goes. So yeah, so it's that way, isn't it? Oh look, I've already put an arrow on it. Right, so I'm now just going to grab my VersaFine Clear, and I'm just going to go in and ink sort of sections of the stamp. So the reason I'm doing this and not mounting it is just because there's the scripted area here and the nice funky border. On this particular card, I don't want that appearing because the card piece is slightly larger. I just want sort of sections of the map to stamp out. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to sort of randomly place parts of the map. So I might use this corner down here for this section. Just checking to see where everything is. So I'll stamp that in this area. So I'm just selecting just different parts of the stamp really, and just going in and stamping the card piece. I might add, actually I better choose a different part of it. Another, just a little area there, and possibly an area here too. Don't know if I want a bit there. Maybe do a tiny bit. There we go. Right, so I'm now going to leave that like that. I'm just going to clear my stamp off. Right, and let me pop it back in the packet because otherwise I'm going to end up losing it. Right, so now I'm going to use the borders. So I'm going to use the film strip. You could actually use the bit of film strip that's on that stamp, but I am going to use the one on here, if I can find it. Here we go. So this one here. So I'm just going to mount that onto my stamping block. I'm using a slightly smaller one here. I'm just making sure it's not going to come off. I think all of mine have been so well used that the some of the foam mount now has decided not to stick very well. So I'm going to go all around the edging again with this. Now, if you'd seen my last video, I did say in that video that if you find you've got some white areas that you're not too pleased with, you can go in with your ink pad at the end and just darken it up. Now I'm actually going against what I normally say because on this particular card I will be mounting it on black. I think because the scene is a very vibrant black, because I use black embossing powder, I want it to really pop out against the some black card. I don't actually use black embossing powder very much because it does, I think I said this in my last video, it can be a little bit too dark. Certainly if you're stamping sort of certain images and things, it can be dark. But for this, you know, using oxides on black card and then stamping over it, or using the picket fence, I think it works really, really well. Right, so I'm just going all around the edging here. I do love these borders. I think these are something that you really do need to have in your stash. They go well with so many different images. Yeah, they're probably one of my most used stamp sets, to be honest. Right, I'm now going to just clean that up and whoops, send it flying across my desk. Right, and pop that away before I lose it. Right, now I am going to go round the edge with a black ink pad, because there are some areas here that I've missed, and I do really want them black. So yeah, I'm just holding it at an angle and I'm just scraping it along the edge. Like that, and that's finished. Right, now I might actually just dry that off very quickly with the heat gun, so I don't particularly want to emboss that. I'm just going to leave it as it is. But because it's quite wet, well actually I am mounting it onto black, aren't I? No, I will still dry it. Knowing me, I will smudge it across the paper. I have a habit of doing that when I do these black line borders. Hopefully that's dried off just enough that I'm not going to smudge it. Right, so again, I'm just going to mount this onto some black card. The glue that I'm using, I do highly recommend it. It's great because it does give you a little bit of time to wiggle it into place. It is quite a nice wet glue, and it dries lovely as well. It is one that I've been using for some time now, so I do use it quite a bit in some of my live demos and everything. Right, so the card topper piece, I'm now just going to mount onto a piece of black card. Actually, that's a little bit too big. I might trim that down just a little bit. I did try to be a little bit organised and prep a few bits, but I think where I was trying to do it in a hurry, obviously didn't think it through that I wanted to see the background. Ooh. Again, this is my favourite trimmer. It's so nice for you know, just leaving on your desk. I do have the larger one, which is great for larger pieces of card, but yeah, I mainly use the small one now I've got that. So I'm just going to stick this down. So I always add a little bit of glue to the centre, because it does stop it sort of I can't think of the word, it kind of bows and sort of puckers a little bit. Whoops, just lifted that up as I tried to pick it up. Just trying to centre that. There we go. And I'm now going to stick that into, oh, let's, I don't know why I always prefer to just clean that ink off of my messy mat. I always prefer to stick everything onto the card blank first before sticking the topper on. It's funny, I guess everyone does things differently, don't they? But yeah, I like to stick it down to the main card piece first. It's nice and straight, so I'm now going to stick this piece on. Right, there we go, and that's the finished card that I'll be sending alongside the ATC. I tend to make cards rather than little card holders. I just find it so much quicker and easier. But I know some people do prefer to make nice little card holders and everything. Do you know what, that area there is looking a little bit plain, isn't it? I feel like it needs a little bit more. I might just, or am I tempting fate? This could be deadly. This could go so terribly wrong, couldn't it? But I just feel it needs, there we go. That's looking better. I felt like it was a little bit too bland in that area. Right, so yeah, that's the card and ATC. I said I won't be posting this video until my swap partner has received this. It's a very simple, quick make again. But yeah, anyway, I'm sure I will be back again soon with another video of some sort. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Well, I won't be seeing you because, anyway, yeah, never mind, I'm just rambling now. But yeah, anyway, thank you for joining me, and don't forget these stamps are on sale at the moment. They are 35% off using code TheBigSale. So pop along to the Crafty Individuals website and grab yourself a bargain. Right, thanks again everyone, bye.